welcome to my very first podcast. First of all, I would like to say thank you for watching, and you're not a returning viewer because this is my first podcast, but I just wanted to say that what inspired me to start this podcast was just how wonderful and kind and encouraging the knitting community is. I've been kind of a observer up to this point, and from watching different podcasts and just seeing the feedback that the podcasters get, the knitting community seems like they are like the nicest, most supportive, least petty people I've ever met, or I guess encountered online, because specifically online people can be kind of terrible, and you guys aren't terrible, so good job. So just, yeah, watching how kind everyone is and how encouraging has really encouraged me to put myself out there, join in the fun, and see what it's all about. So, my name is Julia Mason. By the way, I didn't say that off the bat. My husband's name is Nicholas Mason. We have two beautiful daughters. Felicity is 2.5, and Daisy May is 3 months. She'll be 3 months tomorrow. So my little babies. Yeah, so if I do have spit up on me. That's why. It's because I have a little nursling right now. So, and that's also why I might have to leave in the middle of the podcast and come back later if she gets sad. So, because Daddy's watching them for me. We live in the Pacific Northwest. We live in a small rural community in Oregon, about an hour outside of Portland. My husband and I raise lamb and goat. We have some cows and a llama and a few other things, but the sheep are our main farming endeavor. And lamb and goat, if you've never tried it, is fantastic. So, I mean, if you're not a meat person, cool, whatever. But we eat meat, and we like to be responsible for that meat and know that it has a good life and that it is well taken care of and well fed and happy and healthy all the way up until harvest. So that's our objective in raising lamb, and we raise it for sale. And also, so we raise polypays, which is a breed that a lot of people aren't familiar with. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are, especially if you're in Idaho. You probably know about polypays. They're kind of they were developed in Idaho, and they do well in drier climates, so it's a little bit challenging to raise them here, but not very. They're pretty good. They are known for producing multiples, so they will either twin or better most of the time, every year, or actually you can breed them multiple times a year, and that's a pretty intensive system that we just choose not to. That's a lot of extra work, but they're actually also fairly fine wooled. Here's a little sample. This is actually unwashed. We just sheared them the other day, and it was like Christmas because I had all these beautiful white fleeces that I get to do things with in the future. I am currently waiting on an e-wheel because we don't have a lot of room for a spinning wheel, first of all, and they're kind of expensive, but the e-wheel actually was on Kickstarter, and it's an affordable version, so we'll see how it works. It's in production still, so I won't get it until June, so I'm like super anxiously waiting for it. I do a little drop spinning, and I just spun up this little sample real quick, and this is just really stretchy. The polypay is just springy and nice, so I'm excited to work with it some more and just get better at spinning for sure. Because, yeah, I mean, I can drop spindle, but I'm not great at it, and I'm really slow. So it'll be cool to get better at it. But up until this point, we've had sheep for a few years, and up until this point, every time we've sheared, they have had canary stains, which, if you're not a farmer, you may not be familiar with. It's a bacteria that grows in the wool, and it stains the wool yellow. And I've heard some people say that it doesn't harm the wool and that it's still useful, it's just yellow. But I don't know. Maybe we had something else going on. You can get breaks in wool very easily from lambing stress, or parasites, or all sorts of reasons can cause the sheep to have a break in the wool. But the canary stained wool seemed more brittle and weak to me. And I've also read that it can make the wool more brittle and weak. But it did seem that way. So I didn't really mess with it because I figured why invest all of the time in spinning it and processing it mostly if it's just going to be poor quality. So anyways, so to get really actually white fleeces, this doesn't look very white because like I said, I didn't wash it. I just combed it. I used these little dollar store dog brushes. They're like carding cloth, kind of, but they're tiny. So I just use them to brush out the hard tips. And so it's still tinted, but once it's washed, it'll be like bright, shiny white. And I'm actually learning also, I washed a sample of this fleece last night, and I learned that I hate washing fleeces, like real bad, hate it. It takes so much hot water, which just bothers me on principle, even though whatever. But I really hate the process of washing fleeces, and I feel like it kind of just makes getting the vegetable matter out harder. I'm sure it'll be fine once it's dry again. It'll all brush out and when you card it, but which we don't have carding paddles and all that stuff yet. We're just pretty much doing everything on the cheap right now, and as you know, slowly building up our tool base. But what was I saying? Oh, so this little sample I just combed and spun in the grease, so with the lanolin still on it. It was quite lovely. And it was like, I don't know, so fast to just comb it. And I think if we had a drum carder, it would be, I mean, we also have my husband built a little picker, which is, I don't know how much people are familiar with these things. I mean, you might all be like, duh, I know what you're talking about. Or you might have no idea, I don't know. But a picker is basically a bunch of nails, and there's a top piece and a lower piece, and they open up the locks of the wool as you run it back and forth. So we built one of those really quickly. And so I'm thinking maybe instead of washing wool, unless it's like really poopy, I will probably just pick and then card it dirty and spin in the grease and then wash it, because I think that will save a lot of water and a lot of frustration, just because I really hate washing things. That's just me. So anyways, that was a tangent. Yeah, so we're farmers. My husband is actually also a general contractor. He just started his business about a little less than a year ago, and he's doing really well. He works his butt off. He's amazing. He is, yeah, works all the time, and he's awesome. He's also a super great dad, and I will probably brag about him a lot because I love him and he's awesome. And he just got his first employee a month or two ago, and that seems to be going well. But yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I also run the day-to-day farmy things, which is basically just feeding, keeping an eye on the animals, making sure everything's going well, monitoring whether or not we need to do worming or hoof trims or shearing or what needs to be done. I also do lambing. That's my thing. Lambing is about a month out, and a little less than a month out. And if I do a podcast during that season, you might be able to tell that it is exhausting, because I might be I might not even get a podcast done because I will be really tired. Or I might just be really sick. I don't know. Like, it's so much getting up every 2 hours and checking on the ewes and making sure everything's going well that, yeah, it just wears you out. And I tend to get sick during lambing season, so we'll see. But yeah, so that's my thing. I was doing dairy cattle, and we purchased a brown Swiss last year, and she brought contagious mastitis on the property, and that was a disaster. So anywho, I probably will go into that more later, talk just a little more about the farmy stuff. I am super curious. Comment below and let me know if you guys are interested in the farm stuff. It's a pretty big part of our lives, so if that's something that you find interesting, I'll talk about it. If you're like, nah, just talk about the knitting, then I can stick more to the knitting. And as far as knitting goes, this is supposedly a knitting podcast. I have not talked about knitting at all yet. I hope it'll be a bit of a spinning podcast as well once I get more into that, but for now it's mostly knitting. Historically, I am really cheap. I mean, that's, yeah, we were raised really poor, and well, poor by first world standards. And, so I don't know. I just am, it's really hard for me to put money out and, for things that I can do cheaper, but I have realized, especially just recently, I've really come to the conclusion that I am doing myself a disservice by knitting with cheap yarn, because if you're going to invest hours and hours of your life into something, you should have a quality product at the end. And I feel like I have been just cheapening my work and undervaluing myself. So that's been a revelation, and it's good because I'm excited to start working with some higher quality fibers. That being said, everything that you will see today, whips and finished objects, will all be cheaper yarn because that's what I've always used. And for some things it's appropriate. Like, I've made I've made several baby blankets this year, and I feel like that's one place where acrylic, or not necessarily acrylic, but synthetic, might actually be appropriate, because they literally need to be washed like every day. I mean, if you have babies like me who puke continuously, then yeah, they should probably be washed every day. So, yeah, anyways, I guess I will get right into it. We have whips. I will start with, I only have 2 works in progress right now. I was going to cast on a new project, and I actually stopped myself because I was like, oh, I want to show this skein in Stash Enhancement for my first podcast because it's so pretty. Like, oh, it's a beautiful skein. Anyways, I know it's weird, but my first whip is a funny little sweater dress that I am making for my 2-year-old. I started this, I think, a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, and then we all got the stomach bug that's been going around. It was horrible, so I didn't get to work on it a whole lot. And I should follow patterns. That's another thing that you'll learn, is that historically I have never used patterns because of a lack of confidence. I thought I was pattern challenged, and it was all too much, and I don't know what's wrong with me, but I've started using patterns, and I'm like, what the? Also, do you guys mind swearing? Let me know below, because I need to know. I cannot swear, but I tend to in general. So sorry, I just cracked my finger. That's gross. Yeah, so I need to know. Do you care if I swear? So anyways, this was something that my daughter has a shirt that I really like, and I just copied the pattern of it. It's not a knitted shirt, it's a sewn. But, so I just kind of imitated it, and let's see. It's a little dressy thing. It's funny. She looks adorable in it. The sleeve's not done. Using clover size 4.5 millimeter size US 7 clover double pointed needles for the sleeves. And for the body, I believe I used size 4 circular needles, and they don't have a brand. Once again, I bought a really cheap set of circular needles. I think I have them here. On Amazon. I think it was like 18 different needles for like 12 bucks or something stupid, which I kind of feel bad. I'm like, who made these and how much are they getting paid? So that's my, little guilt there. But anyways, they work really well. I mean, I'm not gonna throw them away. So they're bamboo. I don't know if you can see that. It says 4 millimeters, but anyway, they were a little rough when I first got them, and they're just glued on here. And they're just a cheapo plastic. But they're really comfortable. I've liked them. They've been nice. But, I mean, not like nice, but they're comfortable. And the joins are pretty smooth. So, I've been happy with them. And I'll continue to use them, although I want to get some nicer needles in addition to these. But these are nice. They're fine. So I use these for the body of it. And, I started at the top in the back, just knitting straight across, did a little ribbing here, just so it doesn't roll in the back, because for some reason that bothers me, and I think I knitted down to here. Then I picked up the stitches at the shoulders, right here, and did this little increase dealio, and then I cast on, I think 8 stitches here to join the middle, and then went down to the same place, and it ended up being that there's like a little, I should have joined them here, actually joined them down here, so I had to sew this bit, which was annoying. And then when I hit the waistline, it's kind of it's actually higher than the waist, I just doubled stitches, so every other stitch I increased one, and so then which I think was a little too much. It's kind of hilarious. It just goes boing, which I think is funny, but it's cute. I mean, you can do really terrible work and put it on a 2.5-year-old kid, and it's adorable. So, yeah, I think I'll follow patterns, but it was fun. It was fun to try and make something just random off the top of my head. The sleeve was also a little stupid because when I first made it, the armhole was a little too small. I'd sewn it a little too small for her. When she put it on, it was kind of tight. So then I made it bigger, but then it was like super puffy sleeves. So I had to do a little creative decrease work, but it looks okay. I mean, it's not great, but it looks okay. And it'll look cute when she's running around playing. So that's the sleeve. And I just have to finish this sleeve, and I have to put on the second one, and then I will be done with that. And that'll feel good. There's a lot of, it was not really stockinette because it didn't, I mean, some of it's stockinette, but it was in the round, so I didn't have to do a lot of purling, which is funny because I actually like purling better. That's one thing that's, I think, a little unique about me. Most people prefer knitting, but I really like purling. I'm a continental knitter too. That's another random fact. My second work in progress is one I've been working on for a really long time. It is when I don't have anything else on the needles and I just need something mindless to do. That's what it is. So I picked this up randomly. It's a baby blanket for my 3-month-old Daisy, and it's hilarious because, well, it looks like a bath towel, first of all, which I don't love. And I started it, and I did and it, for some reason, like when I first learned this stitch, it's called a daisy stitch because these little yellow bits look like daisies. And I really only used this stitch because my daughter's name is Daisy, and I thought that would be cute. But then in hindsight, I don't love it. I mean, it'll be nice. It's very thick and warm, but I kind of like knitting because it's thinner. Like, I don't prefer crochet because it's a little too heavy for me. But anyways, and the back side of this looks like crochet, so I'm like, but I knitted it. Yeah, so I got a little ways into it, and I probably should have just frogged it because I wasn't in love with it. I did these funny little stripes, and then I really didn't love it. And I just am stubborn, I think, because I was like, I'm just gonna finish it. I'm just gonna make it. And I had other people say like, oh, I love it, it's so cute, you need to finish it, which is fine. And I was like, okay, fine. And I'm not sad that I did because it's been a nice little mindless project. It's fun. It's a fun stitch to do, kind of, now that I'm comfortable with it. If you drop a stitch, it is very confusing to like reverse reconstruct it and fix it. It's really confusing. And then to like frog back, it's a little hard to pick up stitches. But now that I've got it down, it's pretty easy, and I'm happy with it. But yeah, I'm learning, and I'm trying to challenge myself and do more advanced things. I made three other baby blankets this year. No, 4. The 3 were for friends. I had a lot of friends having their first babies. Actually, one of them was her third. A lot of friends having babies this year, and that was really fun. And so I got to make baby blankets for all of them. And that's always wonderful. So I don't have a lot of my finished products to show you. Here is I guess I'll jump right into FOs while we're talking about baby blankets. This is the first blanket I made for Daisy while I was pregnant. It's just a simple chevron pattern. Let's see if I can show that. Just simple increases and decreases. And it also is acrylic, not the softest. It's very pilly, which is annoying. But I like I was saying, I literally wash it like every day because Daisy uses it a lot and she pukes a lot. So it would be quite crusty if I didn't wash it all the time. So that's that. But yeah, oh, this is funny. I'm getting better. I'm really bad about weaving in ends. This has been, I don't know, I've had this thing for like 6 months and because I finished it well before she was born. Oh well. I'm getting better about weaving ends. With the things that I'm completing lately, I've been weaving in ends. Right here, I plan on inserting a couple pictures of some gifts that I've given away that I did recently. I did the birch leaf scarf, which is a pattern by, I think I have the printout of it here that my daughter has destroyed and drawn on. Oh no. This is only one page of it. The other page has the name, so I will have to look up the name and put it right here. It is, yeah, this is really bad. It's been drawn upon by my little girl, but I figured I could always just print out another copy. But it's a free pattern, and it's super beautiful. It was really fun to knit. I had never done any, I don't know if you would consider that lace work, kind of, I guess. I'd never done anything lace work, and it was really fun, and it was really inspiring. So I am about to cast on the Raina scarf, which brings me to stash enhancements, which I'm really excited about. So since watching podcasts, which I feel like I'm super late to the game, like some of you guys have been out there for 7-8 years, and where have I been? I've totally missed out on, I feel like I would be a much better knitter now had I discovered knitting podcasts years ago, because you guys are so inspiring and just awesome and exciting. So I decided that I was going to start to purchase a little bit better yarn. This is not like someone's hand-dyed yarn or anything awesome like that. That would be really cool. But I found a pattern for a shawl that I really like called the Raina shawl. And I'll once again put the name here and the name of the person who made it, because I'm terrible and didn't think to write these things down. And it's a beautiful shawl, and I'm really excited to cast it on. It looks actually pretty easy, but it looks just beautiful. It's very lightweight and lovely. So I purchased this Malabrigo colorway Ivy sock yarn. 75% merino superwash and 25% nylon, because it's a sock yarn. So this is just really pretty. I am really, and it's so soft. Part of the reason I don't really, or haven't really used a lot of wool historically has been, I have the idea that it's very rough in my head, and this is so soft. I'm like, what the heck? How is, oh my goodness, it's wonderful. So I'm really excited to start this project, and it's part of the reason that I'm actually recording today. I got a new phone yesterday. My old phone had literally no memory ever. I couldn't even take pictures, and I had deleted like all of my apps. It was such a piece of junk. But so I just got a new phone, and I'm recording this. But I was inspired to actually record because I really want to cast this on, but I did not want to de-skein it before I showed it to you guys, because it's so pretty. It's like kind of its own thing, you know, a skein of yarn. It's a little sad to undo it because it's so pretty. But anyways, so for now, I do not have awesome project bags, so it came with a little thing, so I'm just going to keep it in there while I work on it. And the needles I'm going to be using are those 4mm ones, so nothing fancy. I did, this is exciting too, for me anyways, order some 9-inch circulars. I've always been a DPN person, and when I've tried to do like 2 at a time socks, it's fine in theory, but I feel like it just slows me down. And I'm like, yeah, I'm making 2 at a time, but they're taking the same amount of time. I'm just getting them done at the same time, so I might as well just knit 2 socks separately, you know, consecutively, so that I am not tangled, because that frustrates me. Oh, this is my other project bag. It's just a cheapo grocery bag thing. That says Crazy Cat Lady, because that's pretty accurate. So yeah, I ordered ChiaoGoo 9-inch circulars on Amazon the other day, and they should be getting here tomorrow, I think. So I'm excited for those. Actually, this is funny and a little embarrassing. I mean, a lot of my past projects are very embarrassing, and if I can find them, I know I have like my old scarves from when I was a kid kicking around because I took quite a few years off of knitting. This is hilarious. I would say my Oma, but she is actually not my Oma. She's my best friend's Oma from when we were kids. They were very sweet family. They're like my second family. And their Oma and granddad, you know, called me an honorary knight, and which is their last name, and told me that I could call them Oma and granddad. And I didn't actually have grandparents really growing up. My parents are both older, and both of their parents passed away when I was quite young. So it was really pretty awesome to have Oma and granddad. But Oma taught me to knit socks, and she made power socks, which are just, she would use cheaper nylon, DK weight, sometimes heavier, and she must have used like size US 7 DPNs, I imagine is what she was using. And she would just crank them out. I think she could make 3 socks a day that way, because you're doing, you know, much fewer stitches. And it's just a basic, it's like a slipper sock. And she would make those all the time, and which was really fun. And she would give them to her kids, and well, grandkids mostly. And just everybody in the family had power socks, and I don't know if she sold them or what she did with them, because she made a ton. And so she taught me to make those, and so I've made socks in that gauge quite a few times, and they turn out nice. I don't really like the way they feel on the bottom of your foot. They're kind of, the stitches are just kind of like too present, like they're too distinguishable to the foot, which is a little annoying to me. You can feel the ridges kind of under your foot, which I don't like. So I bought proper sock yarn probably 5 years ago. I think I bought this the first year my husband and I were married. I was going to make socks for his family, and not like his whole family, I think it was for his mom or something. And I bought 2 different colorways, no idea what brand this is, and it's not as soft as the Malabrigo, but and I have no idea what colorway or anything. So and I have no idea what happened to the other one, which is sad because I think it was like a pretty purple color, but it's gone. And I knitted I knitted up some socks for yeah, anyways, these are hilarious because I used the same needles that I had been using for years, which were like US size 7, and but I did, you know, the appropriate amount of stitches, and so it's like just fat, floppy, hideous, disgusting socks. They're so ugly, it makes me just embarrassed for myself. So these are getting ripped like frogged bad. Like they need it. They make me laugh. I mean, the toes kind of funny. But anyways, so I'm ripping these out, and I'm going to be casting those onto the 9-inch circulars to try out, because I'm just excited to try something different. I've never used 9-inch circulars. They sound fun, and I also ordered a set of Knit Pro DPNs. I think it has 5 different sizes, so it'll be nice to have some actually small enough DPNs. I've never had teeny DPNs that are appropriate for sock weight. So that will be awesome. I'm excited for that. That's another little stash enhancement that I have not received yet, but they should be here tomorrow. So yeah, I'm thinking that today I will be casting on my Reina shawl, and you'll probably, I mean, theoretically, you could probably see the daisy blanket a lot more times because, like I said, it's what I work on when I have just cast something off and I'm bored. So yeah, that's about all I have to show you for knitting. This quilt back here is something I made when I was in 4-H in, I think I must have been in high school at that time. So, but don't get your hopes up. I do not really sew anymore. I might get into it again someday, but I did make my wedding dress. I think that was the last sewing project that I did. And that's actually funny. I mean, like, when I say that I am kind of cheap, it's funny how much I don't really, like, I don't know, I don't really think about it. But then when I start telling stories, I'm like, I am really cheap. My wedding dress was a bed sheet from the thrift store. So it was a used, very clean, white, I think it was cotton bed sheet. And I'll try and find the picture and insert it here. But yeah, it turned out nice. At least I felt pretty. It was really nice. The only thing that didn't feel pretty was, like, I don't remember which side it was on. One side, I gashed my face like right before the wedding. So I had kind of I like walked into a window. That doesn't sound right. We had a camper that we used to keep our chickens in, and the windows would pop out, and I walked into the thing on the way to go get our marriage license, like as we were leaving, and I gashed my face and had to go to the hospital and get stitched up. So that was fun. The registrar or whatever probably thought that I was abused or something because my face was swollen and like stitches. It was horrible. But anyways, yeah, so my wedding dress was handmade, but I don't think I've really sewed since then. For Halloween, I made my daughter Felicity some hilarious chaps out of fleece and fake leather. So I'll also try to find a picture of that to insert here. Those are hilarious and adorable, and she loves them. She is like such a little, she's like very girly, which is funny because I have never been that way. I'm a lot more comfortable with being feminine now than I was as a kid when I mean, and that's really saying something because I'm still kind of a goob. But yeah, as a kid I was like, I want to be a boy, and I'm not gonna get into it. It's too embarrassing for my first episode. Maybe you guys will hear more about my embarrassing childhood later. But yeah, Felicity is like, it's just the quintessential little girl, and she loves pink and princesses, and she wants to watch Sleeping Beauty every day, but she's also runs around naked and wants to play in the dirt. So it's good. She's balanced, I think. But she's a good little farm kid, and she loves her chaps that I made her, and to ride her pony, but she doesn't get to do nearly often enough. But yeah, anyways, I don't know if there's anything else that you guys would like me to talk about. If you're interested in the farming stuff, I can definitely share about that. I could talk about farming for forever. So if that's interesting, let me know in the comment section. Please like this video. I know it's really hard to get discovered on YouTube because there's about a bajillion people on the internet. So if you happen to see this and it wasn't terrible in your opinion, then please like it, and even like, yeah, encourage other people to watch it. That'd be cool. Maybe more people will see me, and that'd be fun. I would love to be actually talking to someone instead of myself. So yeah, I am excited to get to know you people in the knitting community better. Oh, I suppose I should say like a shout out to some of my favorite podcasts. I have really enjoyed the Dunkel Grun podcast by Anna, and she's just amazing. I mean, obviously, anyone who's watched her work would know that she is amazing. And I just love, she's been really inspiring for dyeing. I mean, a lot of people dye, and that's super awesome. But because we have our own sheep, and we're going to be I want to be producing a lot of my own woolen yarn. I want to try and kind of like stay with that and also produce our own dyes. So the natural dyeing that she does is really inspiring, and I'm excited about it. There's nothing wrong with synthetic dyes at all. I just am like, if I can take yarn produced from our own sheep and dye it with plants that I grew or harvested, that'd be super cool. So I'm excited to try that this year. I'm actually going to be ordering some seeds for some plants that we can't find here naturally. Like I'm going to try growing indigo. That might work. I don't know. I've heard that it's doable, but we'll see. I do really like gardening, and actually all of those canary stained fleeces that we have been really amazing for our garden. They are like the best weed block slash mulch moisture protection barrier ever, and they, like, everything that we've grown with wool surrounding it has been awesome. So I'm definitely going to be trying to grow some indigo, and I would like to try growing madder root, but probably won't be doing it at this property because we hope to not be living here in a couple years, and it takes 3 years for madder root to mature. So I'll probably wait until we have our own place to do that. But yeah, so hopefully in future episodes I will be able to share more of my knitting projects, obviously, and spinning projects, hopefully. And even more, hopefully, I will be able to share some plants that I'm growing for dyeing, and eventually some dyed yarn. That would be fantastic. So hopefully you guys will be there to witness the evolution of this project and see how it goes. And I really appreciate you watching. Like I said, you're awesome. And if you've sat through this much, thank you. You're amazing. And yeah, if you could like it, that'd be great. Something else my husband and I do that I forgot to mention is we raise and train border collies, and we use them to work our sheep. Actually, yeah, they're invaluable. If you have sheep more than just a few, collies are awesome. So we raise, yeah, ABCA registered border collies, and we have kind of the more cowy lines that are really strong, have good bite, really like work dogs. Not, you know, they're not really pets. I mean, they are pets and we love them, but they're like, you go to pet them and they're like, whatever, just like find something to do, and they chase the cat, and not chase the cats. They micromanage the cats, which is not aggressive. It's just like looking at the cat all day long. So, which is really obnoxious, and we tell them not to do that, but it happens. So anyways, you may be seeing more videos of me training. I have a video recorded of me working with my dog Poppy, and I plan on taking more videos in the future. I will actually try and upload that video of me and Poppy after this. If you're interested, you can go and watch that. And maybe I'll insert some pictures of our dogs, and we had a litter of puppies around, I think they were 6 weeks old when I had my daughter 3 months ago. So they're about 4 months old now. And so they're big and obnoxious. We have 2 that we're keeping. We plan to, we have, the name of our dog business is Single Malt Stock Dogs. Our original bitch is named Whiskey. And Poppy doesn't really fit with the theme. She's just, that just fits her personality. But the puppies, we have Moonshine is going to be going to Canada soon. The 2 males we sold when they were still pretty young. But Moonshine's going to be going to Canada soon, and we're keeping Tullamore Dew, which is a whiskey name. And Brandy, we are probably just going to raise her to like a yearling and start her and sell her as a started dog, and hopefully we'll be able to watch her work on someone's ranch, and that would be really awesome and exciting. But we're going to kind of see how Tullamore and Brandy grow and which one turns out to be a better dog, and whoever is a better working dog we'll probably keep and start trialing, and yeah, see how she does. We really want to get more into trialing in the future. So yeah, that's another thing that I forgot to mention that we do. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be lots of those because we are very ADD people. So anyways, bye!